Public backlash against CEO Elon Musk's political positions.
They're down 50% year over year. China's sales were down 50%.
The parent business of Elon Musk, Tesla, is contending with a major reduction in its sales, with a drop of 11.6% in sales just in the month of January alone. This decline is especially worrying in the state of California, where electric cars have become a typical mode of transportation. In order to maintain a strong SES, Tesla has relied on the California market for several years. This region offers tax benefits, a populace that is knowledgeable with technology, and an early adopter mindset. 75% of Germans are purchasing fewer Teslas, which indicates that the dip is beginning to disappear. Despite the fact that sales in China have dropped 11.5% and sales in Britain have dropped by 10%, European markets are not doing much better. Given that China is the largest electric vehicle market in the world, and that it confronts intense competition from Chinese electric vehicle manufacturers, such as BMW and Xpeng, this is particularly unfortunate news. A foundation that has very little to do with the production and sale of automobiles has been the basis upon which Tesla's financial success has been built. One of the more peculiar sources of cash for Tesla has been Bitcoin, which Musk purchased in 2021 when the value of the cryptocurrency surged from its previous level. The price of Bitcoin, on the other hand, is notoriously unpredictable, and the cryptocurrency industry is notoriously volatile. The gains that Tesla had made in cryptocurrency vanished just as fast as they had appeared after the market had cooled down. Because it solely manufactures electric automobiles, Tesla has been able to generate billions of dollars by selling carbon credits to other automobile manufacturers. This credit is then offered for sale to businesses that are required to comply with legislation regarding emissions. However, these carbon credit sales will not continue indefinitely because more automobile manufacturers will begin producing their electric vehicles and hybrids. This will result in a significant portion of Tesla's revenue being eliminated. Elon Musk has spent years saying that Tesla is on the cusp of releasing groundbreaking technology for autonomous driving. However, the business still requires human intervention and makes blunders that might potentially be fatal. Despite the fact that the company costs thousands of dollars for FSD, it still requires human interaction and is not even near to what Elon has promised at the time. In conclusion, the financial success of Tesla is being endangered by a fall in sales, a lack of profitability, and a lack of dedication to the company's mission, all of which are contributing factors. Tesla, the firm that presented the Cybertruck in 2019, was first hailed as a revolutionary, indestructible electric vehicle that would bring about a permanent transformation in the automotive sector. The reality, on the other hand, has been much more dire, with huge production problems and delays, as well as new reports suggesting an unacceptably high fatality rate of 14.5 deaths per 100,000 units. It is 177 times worse than the Ford Pinto, which had a death rate of 0.85 per 100,000 vehicles. This is a significant disadvantage. The design and construction of the Cybertruck was rushed, which resulted in tragic repercussions when the first units were delivered. This is the cause of the problem with the percent of fatalities that occurred with the Cybertruck. The company Tesla has been plagued with delays for years, and when Musk eventually delivered the first vehicles, it became evident that the corporation had rushed manufacturing in order to fulfill demand rather than focusing on safety and reliability. Considering that Trump has returned to the White House, there is cause for concern over Tesla's reliance on government assistance for electric vehicles, EVs. The fact that Trump has been loud about his aversion to pouring public money into what he considers to be a failing industry is unfortunate for Tesla, which has relied largely on government subsidies in order to maintain its competitive edge. Despite the fact that Tesla has benefited from government tax credits that make its automobiles far more inexpensive for customers, many individuals could question whether or not they should purchase a Tesla if these financial incentives were not available. Despite the fact that Tesla's supercharger network is one of its most significant advantages over its rivals, it is not inexpensive to construct and maintain in the event that Trump diverts financing away from electric vehicle infrastructure. Should the process of charging a Tesla grow more onerous, it is possible that a greater number of customers will choose hybrid or conventional gas-powered automobiles instead. Despite the fact that Tesla asserts that it is a cleaner and more sustainable alternative to gas-powered automobiles, there are significant environmental concerns that are ignored by the company. There is a significant problem with the pollution that is generated by the plants that Tesla uses to produce electric automobiles. In order to run its gigafactories, which are responsible for the production of hundreds of thousands of automobiles, the company's facilities continue to rely on fossil fuels. Furthermore, batteries require a tremendous amount of electricity, some of which originates from renewable sources, but the majority of it originates from non-renewable energy sources such as coal, natural gas, and other such sources. In the midst of President Trump's ongoing trade battle with China, Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla, has found himself caught in the crossfire. In order to defend American firms, the United States government levied tariffs on foreign goods, notably those coming from China. However, these tariffs had a double-edged sword effect on American manufacturing. There was a tremendous burden placed on American manufacturing as a result of Trump's tariffs, which imposed taxes on items imported from other nations. These tariffs were not only a burden for firms located in other countries. This resulted in a domino effect of retaliatory tariffs, which targeted products made in the United States of America in return. Due to the fact that Tesla's operations are intricately connected to the economy of the entire world, the tariffs that were imposed on these countries had a direct impact on Tesla's operations. Increasing costs for parts and components are a challenge for Tesla, which ultimately results in increased prices for their overall products. A firm like Tesla, which is already working to make electric vehicles more accessible and affordable to the average consumer, is having a particularly difficult time as a result of this predicament. The price of their automobiles has increased as a result of tariffs placed on the components utilized in their production. Tesla is not only confronted with increased production expenses, but it also runs the danger of alienating customers because they will be required to pay a higher price. Because of the unpredictability of global trade and the fact that policies that are intended to protect can swiftly backfire, even the most successful enterprises are susceptible to being exploited. Since the company's inception, Tesla and its CEO, Elon Musk, have been staunch advocates of policies that safeguard the interests of the United States of America. Musk has even shown support for Donald Trump on many occasions. On the other hand, the situation has shifted, and Musk is now the one who is experiencing the consequences. Battery cells for Tesla's electric vehicles are among the most important components that the company purchases from China. Those components have become more expensive as a result of the tariffs, and as a consequence, Tesla is facing greater production expenses in the realm of automobile manufacturing, where margins are already becoming increasingly tight. In conclusion, the trade war that has been going on between Trump and China has had a significant influence on Tesla, turning out to be a nightmare for his dream of making the United States of America great again. It is possible for companies like Tesla and others to suffer catastrophic outcomes as a result of the unpredictability of global trade and the impact of rules that are intended to protect American industries. The trade conflicts that Donald Trump has started have resulted in major cost hikes for Tesla, which is a leading electric vehicle firm. Tariffs, which are taxes that are put on goods that come from other nations, are intended to protect domestic industries and minimize trade deficits. However, when one country applies tariffs, it sets off a chain reaction of economic damage, which ultimately results in additional tariffs being levied in retaliation imposed by another country. Because of this, the prices of items imported from other countries have increased, making them more expensive for businesses who import them. For instance, Tesla's automobiles are constructed with components that are manufactured in China, which will lead to increased expenses for the company. As a result of Trump's government efficiency and his views on the far right, there has been a rapid backlash, which has led to a precipitous drop in sales and a decrease in demand for the commodities in question. Both decreased sales and job losses have resulted from this, which has been detrimental to the economy. The deterioration of relationships between the Internet and the American Alliance, AAL, has also been a serious problem. During a trade war, amicable business partners can become rivals, which can be detrimental to the trust and cooperation that has been built up over the course of several decades. There have been retaliatory actions taken against U.S. telecommunications companies by countries such as Canada, Mexico, and China. These actions have targeted U.S. businesses that Trump asserts he is protecting. Both Ford and General Motors have experienced a rise in production costs as well as a decrease in demand for their automobiles in international markets. Trump fans, many of whom are devoted to the concept of bringing manufacturing back to the United States, are beginning to feel the pain of their local firms struggling under the weight of these tariffs which are imposed by the United States government. Given that Trump's actions are beginning to backfire and cause harm to American firms, the trade war that he is waging is an example of stubbornness taking precedence over reason. He has highlighted on multiple occasions that suffering is required in order to restore America's greatness, and he has framed the tariffs as a temporary sacrifice for the well-being of the nation in the long run. However, suffering is not a transient state. Rather, it is persistent and occurs to the very individuals whom he asserts he is protecting. The stubbornness of President Trump to alter his policies, despite the fact that they have caused concrete damage to American industry, is a reflection of his more general attitude to exercising leadership. Despite the fact that companies such as Tesla and other manufacturers in the United States are paying the price, he is unwilling to admit error and more concerned with preserving his reputation at any cost.